Welcome to everyone tonight, and I declare this meeting open at 6 p.m. on the 12th of November 2025. The City of Swan acknowledges the traditional custodians of this region, the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, and their continuing connection to the land, waters and community. I pay our respects to elders past, present and their descendants. The terms and conditions of entry into this meeting are posted on the door just as you enter. Please ensure that you have read them prior to attending this meeting and abide by them. Tonight's attendance and apologies. We have all council members in attendance. We have Councillor Howlett who's attending online. Councillor Howlett, can you declare you can maintain confidentiality?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. And I have Councillor Aringo who is just running behind at the moment, and she'll join us shortly. Disclosure of financial proximity interests and interests affecting impartiality. We have the following declarations. Councillor Johnson declared an impartiality interest in item 14.3.2, which is the proposed amendment number 236 to local planning scheme number 17, to rezone lot 312 and lot 313, number 160-162, Great Eastern Highway, Midvale, from public purposes to highway services, LPS 17-236, as the applicant is Department of Fire and Emergency Services, DFES, and he is a DFES volunteer and rescue service firefighter. Mr Stephen Kane declared an impartiality interest in item 14.3.1, which was the consideration of submissions S76, Ministerial Ordered Proposed Amendment number 214 to the City of Swan Local Planning Scheme number 17. To add transport depot as an additional use on lot 812, number 55, Vale Road, Hazelmere, LPS 17-214, as his son is employed by Planning Solutions. Are there any other councillors that need to submit a declaration of interest tonight? If there is, please fill out the form that's in the drawer, underneath the drawer there, and just hand that up to the CEO. We move to part 5, which is public question time. Questions and answers are recorded in the minutes of the meeting, and they may be summarised in accordance with the Local Government Administration Regulations of 1996. All questions received for this meeting have been answered and responded to, and have also been included in this schedule. And all questions will be published in the minutes of this meeting. 5.1, answers to questions which were taken on notice. We had 5 questions from Ms Janzek. 5.2, questions relating to reports contained in the agenda. So 5.2.1, questions of which due notice has been given. We received questions from Mr Simon Ashby and Ms Lynn Deering. And 5.2.2, which is questions without due notice for items in the agenda only. And we also had questions from Ms Lynn Deering. We have not had anyone register to ask questions at this time. Is there anyone in the gallery that is not registered wishing to ask questions relating to items in the agenda? No? Thank you. 5.3, other questions to items not contained in the agenda. 5.3.1, questions of which due notice has been given. We received questions from Ms Karen Mowat, which you can see in the running sheet, and 5.3.2, which is questions without due notice, and we also had questions from Ms Karen Mowat. We have Ms Nicole Smith relating to city maintenance, and Mr Richard Zawada and Mr Humphrey Bogart registered to ask questions. Ms Smith, if you would like to come to the podium. Thank you, and you have 5 questions.
Thank you very much. My question is in relation to road safety. I live in the rural area of Bullsbrook, specifically on Almeria Parade. Our part of Almeria Parade has 2 T intersections in close proximity to each other that are separated by a rail line. Both T intersections don't have minimum safe intersection sight distance in accordance with Ausroads standards. It is also a gravel road that currently has significant potholes, steep drop-offs, and isn't wide enough for 2 vehicles to pass over the railway line at the same time. Furthermore, Almeria Parade also intersects 2 roads that are sealed, and there are significant potholes at this interface or these interfaces. One of these intersections is on Mouchet Road South. The
Just
speed
need
limit.
to ask if you have your 5 questions, please.
Yes, I do have.
Thank you.
One of these intersections, the speed limit that cars are travelling at is actually 110 kilometres an hour, approximately. On a regular occurrence, there are vehicles navigating these T intersections. We have had some near misses due to the inadequate safe intersection sight distance, the speed of the vehicles that are travelling on these roads, and the type of vehicle. Adding also to the issue is the stopping time on the gravel surface. My question is...
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. My question is, when could Council complete works to improve the sight distance and seal this section of Almeria Parade from our driveway all the way down through the two intersections that are unsafe and onto Mouchet Road South?
Thank you. Do you have a further question?
No, that's the question.
Okay, because you can have up to 5 if you do.
No, that's our question.
Okay. Thank you. It's now... Thank you, Mr McLeod.
Thank you. I'm not personally familiar with the intersections that you're discussing, but the city can review those intersections and have some further discussions with you on the safety of those intersections and any works that may or may not be required there. So happy to speak to you after the meeting on that.
Okay, yes, we would appreciate a process. Currently, we've been just raising maintenance requests, which have been actioned when they can, but it is becoming quite a problem. The issues are increasing, so we do need some action when possible, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have Mr Zawada.
Richard Sawada. I'm a resident of Guildford for the last 60 years and a ratepayer. I'd just like to make a statement. The CEO on a number of
question time at the moment.
number of
So you have
occasions.
five questions.
Well, the question is, having spent $120,000 replacing the playground in Stirling Square, they abandoned a drinking fountain. Countless emails to and from the city with all kinds of excuses and backtracking. It's there to prevent water being stolen and wasting water. And then finally they came up with for $13,000 have replaced the drinking fountain in the children's playground with one at the toilet block.
Do you have a question, though,
I would
for
like to
staff?
know why a drinking fountain was removed from the children's playground, replaced with a gardener's tap, which only the gardener has access to, and for the sake of $50, $50, after they'd spent $13,000 replacing the fountain in a far-flung corner of the park, why they can't place a $50 drinking fountain back in the children's playground so that everyone can stay hydrated.
I'll ask staff for you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr McLeod.
I'll have to take that one on notice.
Thank you very much. Did you have a second question?
No, that's the only question.
Okay, and staff will investigate that for you and get back to you.
Well, it's been in their inbox for months.
Yep.
And they were so mean-spirited to say, no, we're not replacing the gardener's tap with another fountain, with a $50 fountain.
Thank you. I will follow that up with staff.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr Zawada. Mr Bogart.
Quoting from the Echo of 24th of October, according to the City of Swan, there is no additional water being pumped in St Leonard's Creek by the developers. Since the topography of Brooklands Estate slopes east-southeasterly, direction to the Swan River, and since water cannot run uphill, it must go via St Leonard's Creek to the Swan River. St Leonard's Creek was geologically formed for that reason. My question is, where does the dewatering go if it is not pumped into St Leonard's Creek?
Thank you, Mr McLeod.
So the dewatering within Henley Brook is being dewatered into temporary storage basins, not into the creek.
How big are those storage basins? Enough for months and months of water? Because if the storage basins are overflowing, then it goes in the creek or in the whatever.
Those storage basins do need to be appropriately sized, and if they are not appropriately sized, they can't be discharging that water into the creek. So if you've evidence of that occurring, please send that through to the city.
Do you have a second question?
Yes. Comparing the various water levels relating to St Leonard's Creek between the 30th of August and the 6th of November on my property, I made the following observations. The level in the creek is now higher than in August. This occurs while the water depth in my monitoring bores are lower, and the water levels in the floodplain adjacent also have fallen. And the water is rusty brown at the moment, which I've never observed before. Can the City of Swan explain why this happens?
Mr McLeod,
I'll have to take that one on notice.
do you have a third question?
Yep. At the September meeting, I asked, why does the city not have a street tree register representing $500 million worth of assets? The city's answer, it is not possible to have every single asset listed in a register. My question is about street trees. There must be cost and maintenance schedules for all street trees in the city. Can I also assume that they are regularly inspected for public safety issues? Therefore, there must be data inside the city's database, and so to create a street tree register cannot be an onerous task and might help even with maintenance.
Thank
So
you.
repeating my previous question, why does the city does not have a street tree register?
Mr CEO, if you could provide
Thank
further
you. And as
information.
I advised before, Mr. Bogart, it's nice to see you again. The street trees aren't an asset that are as attracted to the value, are recorded in the assets register. The city does not retain a detailed profile on each street tree. We do not do individual maintenance on each street tree every year. We will do reactive maintenance to prune under power lines, etc. But it's simply not practical to have a record for each street tree.
Okay. Did you have a fourth question?
Yes. The city answers to my question in the October council meeting. If City of Swan adheres to the Local Government Act, section 3.1, subsection A1, how is it then possible that the City of Swan promotes the construction of the major road like Henley Brook Avenue? Reads like palming off their responsibilities to other government entities while not answering the question. To clarify this, the city's answer was, the city does not ignore its general function responsibilities. Individual projects can only proceed if they fit within approved plans of Metropolitan Region Scheme or local planning scheme, and where required, approval from Main Roads or DWER. So they have to be in place before they can proceed. I'm not disputing that other authorities are part of the approval process. However, if the city follows the obligations under the Local Government Act, section 3.1, subsection A1, it would not propose or promote, actually oppose, a project like Henley Brook Avenue. My question is, why does the City of Swan does not want to adhere to this Local Government Act?
Thank you, Mr CEO.
And thank you, Mr. Bogart. As I advised before, the city does adhere to its general function responsibilities under the Act. That includes provision for transport services across the network for its residents. It includes the provision of infrastructure, maintenance services and the like. So where you have individual projects that require regulatory approval from third parties such as DUO or EPA, those approvals need to be in place before any action can take place. So there's nothing that connects a project such as Henley Brook Avenue with a deviation from our requirement under the Local Government Act.
But that section asks for looking after future generations. Does it with this? Sorry.
So through the chair, it's an intergenerational responsibility, just as it is for the financial management of the city. Because the city initiates a project which is part of its Metropolitan Regional Scheme obligations, including delivery of road projects, doesn't mean it's not looking after those future needs. In fact, that's exactly what it is doing. It is constructing the infrastructure in accordance with the approved plans to provide for the needs of 180,000 who will grow to 300,000 residents across the city. So each project, though, as part of that, has to go through its own regulatory approval if it requires, for instance, things like land clearing, which I believe is what the essence of your question is about. So the city does meet those responsibilities and is doing so responsibly. In accordance with that, we've just recently adopted a new strategic community plan, 2025 to 2035, which outlines how we're going to deliver on those responsibilities over the next decade.
Did you have a final question?
No, I don't.
Thank you very much. I'll ask again, is there anyone in the gallery that is not registered wishing to ask a question relating to items not in the agenda? Ms. Zek.
Thank you. I specifically asked Finn McLeod, Phil Russell, the CEO and yourself, Madam Mayor, a question, albeit the same question, at the last council meeting. Can you tell me why the agenda minutes did not reflect that I asked this question of specific staff and yourself?
Thank you. Mr CEO.
Thank you, and good evening, Mr. Sec. Nice to see you again. The issue for minutes is they do not provide a verbatim record of the transactions for a council meeting. But firstly, all questions are directed through the chair. It is the chair who reassigns that question to individuals. The response is coming through the chair on behalf of the city. So we don't record the names of persons who provide those responses. We record the detail of what was provided in the minutes. And as I said, they're not a verbatim record of everything it is asked.
Thank you. I have another question. This is the last one. When can I expect to get a more detailed response to my questions?
Mr CEO.
Thank you. I'm not aware of any further detail that's provided. I think every question has had a formal response to it. Those responses are the response of the city.
The last question that I asked was, I won't be able to find it now, but the response was that I would be receiving a more detailed response after from the staff when they had been through their question.
Was that in
You're
an
referring
email?
to question number 5. It said, I'll take
Yes.
that on notice. I'm not sure when that additional information will be available.
Okay. Is
So-
there the question?
So we have no idea when you'll have that additional information.
Thank you.
Through the chair, no.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Eck. We move to part 6, which is public statement time. We are now moving into the first bracket of the 15 minutes of questions. So we have quite a large agenda tonight. Can we allow extra time for the questions?
You can have
Another
up to,
15 minutes.
15 minutes one block.
Thank you. I'll ask Mr. Ashby, would you like to come to the podium?
So through the chair, we don't have a record of any statement from Mr. Ashby to be made tonight.
Was that through an
Did you
email?
get an acknowledgement, Mr. Ashby, back through the city? Through the chair, might I suggest Mr. Ashby asks questions then? That's probably the easiest way to deal with the issue.
Would you like to come and ask those questions at the podium? Okay, thank you very much. We move to part 6, which is public statement time. Registration for public statement time at council meetings was required by 10 a.m. this morning on Wednesday the 12th of November 2025. Public statements are for general matters for the city and not for items on the agenda. We have not had any requests for public statements at this stage. Part 7, petitions. We have had... My opinion.
Mr. Ashby maintaining he has lodged a public statement.
Okay.
It would be open to you under meeting procedure
Sure.
4.34 on the basis that he believes and we don't have a record to accept the public
Okay.
statement if you wish.
If you'd like to come up to the podium, Mr. Ashby.
And just turn that.
Okay, right there. Hello, that's better. Yeah. The City of Swan Planning has a poor reputation amongst the community concerning impartiality and expertise in making planning recommendations to council. For a start, impartiality. In tabulated summaries of consultations, no objection is summarised as support. Obviously, this is not correct and can introduce bias. Expertise. The recent controversial felling of trees along Stirling Crescent was justified by planning in an email as the vegetation was non-native. We believe this is correct as the proponent's bushfire management plan and water management plan refer to established native vegetation. I quote, Class A forest, dominated by Eucalyptus spp, foliage covers significantly exceeds 30%. Trees planted in a form to a near continuous canopy. In 2004, a substantial part was planted to provide screening from the power lines with species including flooded gum, Eucalyptus cassia, acacias, marri, casuarinas and grevilleas. Even if the City of Swan staff cannot identify flooded gum and marri trees, there was local expertise across the road at Trillion Trees. Something went wrong. Traffic impact assessment for Hazelmere Local Structure Plan refers to the new distribution road B as a ring road. Ring roads are normally closed, but not this one. The report discourages RAV traffic, that's heavy traffic, using Stirling Crescent and Amherst Road. So where do the RAVs go? From the north end of this distribution road.
Thank you very much, Mr Ashby. That was your 2 minutes. Just one moment, please, councillors. Just one moment, please, councillors.
Thank you. I refer you to meeting procedures 4.33, which states a public statement is not to exceed 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr CEO. Thank you very much, Mr Ashby, for your statement.
Can I make a written statement then?
Sorry?
Can I submit a written statement?
Yes, you can. Yep, you can email that through to staff as well. Thank
Okay.
you. I'll just get you to turn that one off at the microphone there. Thank you. Okay. Then move to part 7, which is petitions. We had no petitions presented that need tabling at this meeting. Part 8, deputations. All deputations for items on the agenda were heard at the agenda forum held on the 5th of November 2025. Now, move to part 9, announcements by myself. We have some amazing awards to share with you tonight. The first one is the Partnership and Collaboration Award, just here. I might just get Mr. CEO to hold that one up. I'd like to inform council members that a recent award made at the 2025 Local Government Professional Awards earlier this month, that the City of Swan, in partnership with the Shire of York, received the Partnership and Collaboration Award, which recognises genuine and effective partnerships delivering significant benefits for local governments and their communities. The City of Swan graduate engineer Tim Cummings went on secondment to the Shire of York in early 2025, and the benefit for the Shire of York is that they received an extra resource with skills and knowledge, which was developed at a large metropolitan local government. While the benefit for the City of Swan is that at the end of the secondment, we received back a graduate engineer with a diverse range of experience. So Tim has recently stepped into the role of Acting Manager of Assets and Projects at the Shire of York, providing him with the opportunity to gain further leadership experience. And I'm pretty sure that council members would like to join me in congratulating everyone who helped organise this award-winning initiative. So thanks very much, and to Tim as well. Well done. So then that was topped off by Saturday night for those that attended the Western Australian Tourism Awards. The City of Swan plays a key role in supporting and growing tourism through strong partnerships with local businesses, industry groups and all levels of government. So here we won Gold Medal for Excellence in Local Government Award for Tourism. So I think that's worth a big applause. So over the 2 decades, we've led regional marketing, tourism and development and signature events such as Entwined in the Valley. Also, our award-winning Swan Valley Visitor Centre is central to enhancing the visitor experiences and promoting the region. And these efforts have helped make the Swan Valley Western Australia's most visited wine region. And that has been attracting over 4 million visitors annually, contributing significantly to the area's economic growth and reputation as a leading tourism destination. So when we thought we couldn't win more than one out of the 4 categories we were nominated for, we hit gold and we won a second award for the night. So there's a second clap. So we took out the gold medal for visitor information services, and we are absolutely beside ourselves because we have an award-winning tourism centre. Swan Valley Visitor Centre is the heart of the Swan Valley experience, connecting over 1 million visitors annually to the best of Western Australia's oldest wine region. As Australia's most awarded visitor centre, Swan Valley Visitor Centre champions exceptional customer service, innovative digital tools and meaningful community partnerships. So from personalised itineraries to live chat support and curated local experiences, the Swan Valley Visitors Centre delivers an absolutely amazing welcoming face of visitors while supporting over 200 local businesses. Its mission is simple: ensure that every visitor inquiry is met and exceeded, and this is creating memorable experiences and moments and long-lasting connections that celebrate the spirit of the Swan Valley. So a massive thank you to the staff involved in this awards and the services that they've delivered to the Swan community. So another big round of applause. That is a massive award to win for any council. And that was on top of the March awards that we won in Adelaide as well for the Visitors Centre. We move to part 10, leave of absence. Are there any councillors, members requesting a leave of absence? If not, if you can just hand that up to the CEO, please. So part 11 is confirmation of minutes. 11.1, confirmation of minutes of the ordinary meeting of council held on the 8th of October 2025. 11.2, confirmation of minutes of... What, my bad?
Councillor Bowman seeking a leave of absence.
Was that a yes?
Yeah, sorry, moving too quick for me tonight, Madam Mayor. It was Tuesday the 25th of November to Friday the 28th of November, please. Inclusive. Sorry.
Thank you very much. I'll ask a remover. Thank you. Councillor Miles, a seconder. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Zanino. Is anyone against? That's carried. Thank you. Does anyone else have a leave of absence? No. All right, we'll head back to 11, confirmation of minutes. So 11.1 was confirmation of minutes of the ordinary meeting of council held on the 8th of October 2025. 11.2, confirmation of minutes of the special meeting of council held on the 22nd of October 2025. 11.3, confirmation of minutes and the special meeting of council held on the 29th of October 2025. And I'll ask, can I please have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Miles. And a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Bowman. Is there anyone against? That's carried. Thank you, councillors. So we move to part 12, business left over from the previous meeting if adjourned, and there was none. We move on to part 13, adoption of those recommendations contained in items not withdrawn. For the benefit of community members observing the meeting, the council uses an en bloc method of decision making. So this means that the agenda items where council supports the officer recommendations are not debated separately. One vote is taken on all of the items, and the officer recommendation is therefore the decision of council. The following items have not been withdrawn for individual consideration, and they'll be dealt with via the en bloc method. Therefore, the officer recommendation will be the decision of council. So 14.2.1, the adoption of the Guildford Hazelmere Local Area Plan 2025. 14.2.3, MRS Amendment 1441, Lake Farm Retreat, Urban Precinct, Balladura. 14.3.2, which is the proposed amendment number 236 to local planning scheme number 17 to rezone lot 312 and lot 313, number 160-162 on Great Eastern Highway, Midvale, from public purposes to highway services, LPS 17-236. 14.5.1, this is the financial management report for the period ending 30th September 2025. 14.5.2, this is the list of accounts paid in September 2025. 14.5.3, which is the change in basis of valuation. 14.5.6, RF225SD46, construction of Brabham Sports Pavilion. And 16.1, which is lease number 22, lot 218, Junction Parade, Midland.
Question, Madam Mayor. Can I withdraw 16.1 for questions?
16.1?
Lease number 22, Junction Parade, Midland, withdrawn for questions.
Yes.
I'll move the rest, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. Should I have a seconder? Oops. Thank you, Councillor Congerton. Is anyone against? No, and that's carried. Thank you. And we move to part 14. These are the reports withdrawn for debate or absolute majority vote, which is required. The following reports have been withdrawn for debate will have an absolute majority vote in accordance with the Meeting Procedures Local Law 2023 and will be dealt with by Council individually. 14.1.1, which is the nomination of council members to Midland Land Redevelopment Committee. It's an absolute majority and you'll find that on Docs on Tap. So tonight on the agenda we have a report seeking the appointment of council representatives for the Midland Land Redevelopment Committee. In accordance with section 5.11 of the Local Government Act 1995, all positions on council committees became vacant following the local government election on the 18th of October 2025. Membership of committees required under other legislation and committees required under legal agreements and other committees are also to be reappointed. Council members have been afforded the opportunity to nominate for this committee. We have had the expression of interest from council members with the nominations received from Councillor Bowman, Councillor Carr and Deputy Mayor Zanino. Do I have any further nominations for this position? No? So we need to vote on these nominations. So those are for Councillor Bowman, Councillor Carr and those for Deputy Mayor Zanino.
Can I ask a quick question?
Question.
Was Councillor Prodovnik already nominated for this one?
Yes.
So we only need one person to be...
2.
So there's 3 total. Okay, cool.
Madam Mayor, I'll test the waters. I'll move that we nominate Councillor Bowman and Deputy Mayor Zanino. The reason being Councillor Bowman was the one that nominated 2 weeks ago but played the team game and withdrew to allow the Councillor Prodovnik to do it. And the reason Deputy Mayor Zanino is he's previously been on it as well.
Thank you, Councillor Bowman. Do I have a seconder?
Question, Madam Mayor, if this is a alternate motion or a notice of motion, shouldn't it have been submitted prior to the meeting? Should we
Mr.
not just
CEO?
have a show of hands?
Through the chair, no. This is a motion that gets raised as an amendment at the meeting. So there's an amendment being proposed to the requirement to fill 2. Each of the ones that every council's had the opportunity for expression of interest. So, Madam Mayor, you have a mover and a seconder of a motion which now needs to be considered.
So question then, Madam
Question?
Mayor, through you to the CEO, you said it had to be an amendment, but I heard Councillor Bowman say motion.
Mr. CEO?
Thank you. And Councillor Johnson, you'd be aware that there are various types of motions called alternate motions, called amendments, amending motions, both of which are motions. So you have a motion from Councillor Bowman to appoint 2 of the people who have nominated. That has a mover from Councillor, I can't remember who.
Henderson.
Henderson, and I think you had a seconder, Madam Mayor.
Were you the seconder, Councillor Henderson? Oh, thank you.
Question, Madam Mayor.
Yes.
Can we express our interest and say a few words about it, why we have expressed an interest?
Do you have the opportunity? Yep.
Through the chair, no. So what happens, you could speak against it, the 2 nominations, and that's how you would oppose the business. So you've had a motion now. Your option is then to say, look, I wish to speak against this motion, and then say I'm foreshadowing an alternate motion, which might be to nominate yourself and another councillor, but you'd have to confine your points to why you're speaking against it, basically.
Okay.
Through to you, Madam Mayor, I'm against, so I would like to speak and I would like to nominate Deputy Mayor Zanino and myself for this one.
Okay, it's not quite at that stage yet. So we had Councillor Bowman's motion, and then I asked for a seconder, but I had a question in between. Councillor Henderson, did you put your hand up then? Yes, that's what I thought. Thank you. So we have a seconder. We've got Councillor Henderson. Now I'll ask: is there any councillor who wishes to speak against? One at a time. I've got 3 people. Sorry.
There's point of order there, and that is.
What is your point of order, Councillor Catalano?
This motion hasn't even been. Put
Well,
on
you
the
need to
table.
have a point of order for me to be able to consider the point of order. So you
Well,
need to be able to
This
recite
motion
that.
hasn't been put on the table yet. This one here to
Thank you.
amend. So somebody has to propose this motion, and then somebody then can amend it. We're not at the stage of amendment because it hasn't been actually put on the table.
Mr. CEO.
through the chair, you have the amendment, which is the nomination of Councillor Bowman and the nomination of Deputy Mayor Zanino. You have a mover and seconder for it. You're now at the point of the discussion of debate. Having had an opposed business, which Councillor Carr said she's going to oppose this, we need to now listen to the mover of the motion begin the debate. Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Bowman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, I'm speechless. I'm speechless because when every councillor around this table got asked what they wanted to be on and put their expressions of interest forward some 3 weeks ago, the only councillor that put his or her name forward to be considered on the Midland Land Redevelopment Committee was myself. There was no Midland Ward councillors that put their names forward. However, during the meeting, Councillor Budovnik expressed an interest. And as a team player, I withdrew from that to expedite the meeting, which we do now know went for over an hour. Madam Mayor, to now have 3 people who, for whatever reason, 2 others changed their mind, missed out or whatever, I'm speechless. Madam Mayor, this is not to be on the committee. This is 3 names that goes to the Minister for consideration. And I would expect if you wear a blue tie, you won't get anywhere. I expect if you've probably got a purple tie, you won't get anywhere. But we don't know, Madam Mayor. And Madam Mayor, if I had a thought we would waste another 20 minutes, I would have happily withdrawn it, but now it's the principle of the matter.
Thank you, Councillor Bowman. I'll ask if any councillors like to speak. Sorry, my apologies, Councillor Henderson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll reserve my right to speak.
Thank you. I'll ask if any councillor would like to speak against the motion. Councillor Carr.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I think the day I received an email from Valerie, I responded straight away. Definitely honoured to put forward my nomination for Midland Land Redevelopment Committee. The redevelopment of Midland represents not only urban transformation, but an opportunity to shape a vibrant economic, social and cultural centre for our region. As a wife of a veteran, mother of 2, I deeply value community resilience, opportunity and belonging. Principles that I believe must guide
Point of order, Madam Mayor.
Just one moment, Councillor Carr. If you could just please resume your seat.
Thank you.
If you just resume your seat for a moment. Councillor Bowman, what was your point of order?
7.21C, the 2 names in the resolution or the recommendation are Councillor Zanino and Councillor Bowman. Councillor Carr is not listed.
Thank you very much. Councillor Carr, if you'd like to continue but not use those names, thanks. You can resume.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Thanks, Madam Mayor. So I believe as a member of Urban Bushland Council WA, which reflects my strong commitment to sustainable development, environmental protection and preserving local identity as we grow, professionally I bring 15 years of civil service experience across federal, state
Point of order, Madam Mayor.
Just one moment, Councillor Carr, if you'd just like to resume your seat for a moment. Councillor Bowman. what
Again,
was your-
7.21C, we're not talking about Councillor Carr.
Yep, so Councillor Carr, you need to refrain from talking about your nomination. Thank you.
You can only speak about the other 2.
Okay. If you'd like to resume, you have 2 minutes and 9 seconds.
Yep, so I feel like Deputy Mayor Zanino and myself, this is what I feel like. This is my first time, so apologies
Yes,
for
fine.
any confusion there. But hey, thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll ask if anyone councillors like to speak for the motion.
Amendment.
Amendment?
Yeah, I'd like to delete the words Councillor Bowman from Councillor Bowman's motion and replace them with Councillor Carr.
Thank you very much, Councillor Johnson. Councillor Bowman. Or seconder, sorry.
No, it's not.
I'll ask, is there a seconder to Councillor Johnson's amendment?
Councillor Dean.
Councillor Dean? Yep. Is anyone against? Do you wish to debate it?
I do. And I'm sure that Councillor Cower does as well.
Councillor Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would have thought that something like this could be debated in a more pleasant manner, and I would have thought that we could actually have had to put hands up to vote for it. Look, I think we need to give due consideration to Councillor Cower. Councillor Cower would like to be on this committee. I don't believe she's on many other committees. Councillor Cower is a new councillor and has proved herself very capable after only one agenda forum. I think that by moving in this amendment, Councillor Cower can speak for herself. But I think that we also need to consider the fact that Councillor Bowman is a CEO of another local government, and it wouldn't be appropriate.
Point of order, Madam Mayor.
Could you just resume your seat, please, Councillor Johnson? What was your point of order? Councillor Bowman?
7.21C, what my private
Just
life...
if you could just go slower for the new councillors, please. So
7.21C,
Yes.
relevant. What I do in my paid position is not relevant, including what Councillor Johnson may or may not do in his paid position is not relevant.
Thank you, Councillor Bowman. Councillor Johnson, if you could refrain from referring to his else.
So
I rule that I uphold the point of order. Thank you.
yeah. So I think we also need to consider the need to have some refreshment. Although we're only posing nominees, I think that the
Point of order, Madam Mayor.
Just one moment, Councillor Johnson.
7.21E, insulting expression, refreshment. Considering Councillor Johnson's motion is to remove me, is he saying I need to be refreshed?
Thank you. I uphold your point of order. Councillor Johnson, if you could just keep it to the subject, please.
it is funny,
Councillor Johnson.
So for that reason, councillors, I think new faces would be a good idea. I think the department would like to see new faces on this committee. I would like to see some new faces on the committee. I think Councillor Cower would be great. She's got tremendous government experience. She speaks very well. And I think we need to be pushing our newer councillors forward. So I look forward to hearing Councillor Cower's speech later on.
Thank you, councillors. Anyone like to speak against the amendment?
Madam Mayor, the seconder needs to speak next. That's our
Thank
meeting
you.
procedures, local law.
It was Councillor Dean. Would you like to speak or withhold?
You can reserve your right.
Yep. Thank you.
Just put your microphone on.
I'll ask if anyone would like to speak for the, against the motion, amendment. Thank you, Councillor Bowman.
Madam Mayor, Councillor Johnson provides information that it was one of the reasons why we had 2 hours, 1 hour at a special council meeting. We've been told you can't put your hands up to vote. Debate in a pleasant manner. Well, Councillor Johnson, that's up to you. Refreshing. Councillors, we're all equal around this table. All.
If you'd like to continue, please, Councillor Bowman.
Point of order, Madam Mayor. If
Just
I
one
can't say
moment, Councillor
refreshment,
Johnson.
neither can
Councillor
Councillor
Johnson.
Bowman.
I would just like to continue the process for the new councillors. If you could resume your seat, please, Councillor Bowman. If you could please tell me your point of order, Councillor Johnson.
Well, I've already done that.
No, you didn't quote, sorry, from local media procedural law, so I won't uphold your point of order. If you'd like to continue, Councillor
Thank you,
Bowman,
Madam
please.
Mayor. Madam Mayor, this is not a committee constructed under the Local Government Act, but Councillor Johnson would be well aware of that because he got told that at the special council meeting previously before. Councillor, Madam Mayor, as I said before, when the names were asked 3 weeks ago, there was one name that got put forward.
Thank you, Councillor Bowman. I'll ask councillors, does anyone like to speak for the amendment? Anyone like to speak against the amendment? Councillors for the amendment or speak against the amendment? Thank you.
Yeah. Yep. Hi. I want to speak for the amendment. Because I feel this is the right time, and for me, being the fresh face and new into the council, I bring completely new experience. And with my background in engineering and owner-builder experience, I understand both technical and practical sides of planning and redevelopment, ensuring every decision is evidence-based, value-driven, and accountable. Thank you.
Thank you, councillors. Would you like to speak for the amendment? Last call, anyone like to speak against the amendment? No, you're right to reply.
Look, Look, councillors, I think we can all see the merit of Councillor Carr being nominated, so I urge you to vote for my amendment. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillors will now put the amendment, Councillor Johnson's amendment, to the vote. Those in favour? Councillor Catalano, Councillor Dean, Councillor Carr, Councillor Howlett and Councillor Johnson. And those against? So I had Councillor Aringo, Councillor Bowman, Councillor McCulloch, Councillor Takiro, Councillor Miles, Councillor Congerton, Councillor Zanino, Councillor Henderson, Councillor Prodovnik and myself. And it's lost 5-10. So councillors, we now move back to the substantial motion. And I think we were at for and against. So would anyone like to speak for the motion? Anyone like to speak against the motion? I'll ask again, anyone like to speak for the motion or against the motion? No? Councillor Bowman, you're right of reply. Put that to the vote then. Those in favour? So I had Councillor Aringo, Councillor Bowman, Councillor McCulloch, Councillor Takiro, is that your hand up or down? Yes, thank you, I can't see. Takiro, Councillor Miles, Congerton, Deputy Mayor Zanino, Councillor Henderson, Councillor Prodovnik and myself. And those against? I had Councillor Catalano, Councillor Dean, Councillor Carr, Councillor Howlett and Councillor Johnson. It's carried 10-5. Thank you very much, councillors. Now we move to 14.2.2, which is the draft policy LP 118, tree protection and management local planning policy, which is the final adoption, and you'll find that on page 46. In the event that Councillor Henderson's motion is lost, I will need a council member to please foreshadow the officer's recommendation. Proposed motion by Councillor Henderson. If you'd like to please read out your motion.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move the council resolve to 1, defer this item for staff to provide 2, council an in-depth workshop and review of the proposed policy POL-LP 1.18. Reasons for the motion, that there are inconsistencies and unknown impacts within the proposal. There are crossovers between state policy and the proposed policy. The proposed policy is lengthy and will impose significant additional costs of land prices. There was a very small number of submissions, with 10 of the 32 supporters making no comment in support of their submission. This item is not time sensitive. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Henderson. Do I have a seconder?
Second.
Thank you, Councillor Bowman. Is anyone against? It's carried unanimously. Thank you. Okay, councillors, we then move to item 14.3.1. This is the consideration of submissions for S76 Ministerial Ordered Proposed Amendment number 214 to City of Swan Local Planning Scheme number 17 to add Transport Depot as an additional use on lot 812, number 55, Vale Road, Hazelmere, LPS 17-214 on page 114. In the event that Councillor Catalano's motion is lost, I will need a councillor to please foreshadow the officer's recommendation. If you would like to read out your proposed motion, Councillor Catalano.
Thank you. Proposed, yes, that the council resolve to 1, note the submissions received on proposed amendment number 214 to the City of Swan Local Planning Scheme number 17. 2, not support amendment 214 with or without modifications. 3, forward the decision to the Western Australian Planning Commission for the Minister for Planning's final decision. 4, advise the applicant owner and those who lodged a submission of the council's decision. Reasons for the motion. 1, under the City of Swan Local Planning Scheme 17 and the Hazelmere Enterprise Area Structure Plan, the HESP, or as some planning staff call it, the HESAP, but I'll call it the HESP. A, light industrial prohibits activities that cause any injury to or adversely affect the amenity of the locality. B, transport depot is used for the parking or garaging of commercial vehicles. C, the northern portion of Lot 812 Vale Road is located within the light industrial buffer protecting existing residential and sensitive environmental areas from heavy industry, while the southern portion is located within rural residential zone. 2. The proposal does not give enough information about the impact, including type and number of vehicles, to determine whether the use as a transport depot would adversely impact the amenity of the locality that would be incompatible with the orderly planning of the area under the HESP and the Local Planning Scheme 17. 3. Further development and amendment on the portion of the lot reserved for the future Midland Freight Railway will make it more expensive and difficult for the land to be acquired for the purpose of the railway in the future. 4. To approve this amendment is to indulge in ad hoc planning contravening orderly planning in the district, which sets a bad precedent for future decision making. 5. The community expects that the council not make ad hoc decisions overriding the intent and purpose of its own planning instruments.
Thank you, Councillor Catalano. I'll ask, do I have a seconder? Councillor Johnson.
Question.
Question?
Through you, Madam Mayor, to the planning staff. I just wanted to double check something. The officer's recommendation says that support proposed amendment number 214 with no modifications, but in the report to council you reference condition number 2, which basically seeks to prohibit the proponent from expanding beyond the boundary of the current site. If we support Councillor Catalano's motion, will the proponent be able to enact condition number 2? Can you just explain to me where that sits in this, in the recommendation for the officer's report?
Mr. Russell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. What Councillor Catalano's motion is proposing is to recommend that the Minister not adopt this amendment at all. So it's at the other end. It's not to modify or adopt the amendment with certain conditions applying to the additional use of transport depots, to reject it outright, so that they're opposite ends of the spectrum. Ultimately, it'll be up to the Minister whether to approve the amendment, and if so, with conditions, and that includes whether or not the condition limiting the transport depot to the existing buildings or beyond. That'll be up to the Minister to determine. But if you pursue Councillor Catalano's, if the Council accepts the motion to recommend the Minister not support it, then it's not a question of the conditions of support.
Sorry, just one more question. It's just that the wording of the officer's recommendation says support proposed amendment number 214 with no modifications, but you're saying within the schedule of submissions and the paperwork that's going to the WAPC, condition number 2 under the officer's recommendation will be upheld?
Through you, Madam Mayor, I can't make any statements as to what the Minister will or won't do. What I'll observe in relation to that condition peculiarly is that the proponent, when he wrote to the Minister, formed an amendment that included the condition limiting the extent of the transport depot to, in essence, the existing developed areas. That was the applicant's recommendation. For reasons unbeknownst to me, they've rescinded that recommended condition that they advanced to the Minister. So I imagine the Minister may well think long and hard as to why, on the basis for doing that, if the Minister resolved to direct the City to initiate the amendment as formulated originally by the proponent with that condition, then it's open to the Minister to, determine whether or not, without that condition, the amendment is appropriate. But we're saying, as it's been directed to initiate it, we see no reason to delete that condition. That's why there are no modifications in the officer recommendation.
Thank you. So I had Councillor Johnson as the seconder. I'll ask if anyone wish to debate or speak against the motion.
I'm against.
Thank you. Do you wish to debate it?
Yes.
Councillor Catalano.
Thank you. Orderly planning is a methodical and systematic process for the fair, economic and sustainable use of land and resources that follows an established framework. It ensures a proposal is logical, disciplined and not haphazard, and is consistent with the overall planning policies for an area. Ad hoc planning is the opposite and is not supposed to happen because it sets a precedent that potentially disrupts orderly planning. If one developer gets special treatment, then why shouldn't everybody else get the same? The Council should not approve this amendment because it is ad hoc, and the Minister, it actually goes against the HESP, and the Minister needs to know that the City intends to follow through with orderly planning instruments as proposed in its own local planning scheme and in the HESP, drafted with state government departments and existing local residents. Let the Minister be the one to use their power to facilitate ad hoc planning and thereby override any orderly planning decision of this Council. Page 1 of the HESP states, without a structure plan, development uncertainty will remain, infrastructure provision will be haphazard, land use conflict will continue, and environmental and traffic issues are likely to be exacerbated. The HESP seeks to simultaneously facilitate appropriate industrial growth whilst protecting sensitive wetlands, grounds and surface water and surrounding residents. So you'll see it on the map that I've given you tonight. It's right there in the bottom, 14.3.1. It's clearly marked in an area that is for light industrial, that is meant to be a buffer between heavy industry, which is the dark red area in the middle, and then the existing residential and rural residential area around Lakes Road. The adjacent rural residents have not unreasonably opposed the transport depot because possible future commercial truck and other vehicle movements will very likely adversely impact their amenity, which is not permitted in the light industrial zone, according to the HESP. The proponent has given very little evidence as to the impact their proposed activities will have on the amenity of the area, although from their submission they indicate that they intend to extend their operations beyond the existing buildings and hard stand, which gives you some idea. The other submissions in favour are also extremely concerning, as it appears that there is a push for industrial creep on the western edge of the industrial zone, with such submissions as, quote, the whole area should be zoned industrial and bring the rest of Hazelmere into a commercial and industrial precinct. Ad hoc planning. I understand that people want to make a profit, but at what cost to the existing Hazelmere residents?
Thank you, Councillor Catalano, and that's your 3 minutes. I'll ask Councillor Johnson as the second if you wish to speak.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, I thought Councillor Catalano's speech was going really well then. Look, my reason for opposing this is to support Councillor Catalano. I'm obviously a Midland Guildford Ward councillor. Draw your attention to reason number 3 in Councillor Catalano's motion. Further development and amendment on the portion of the lot reserved for future Midland Freight Railway will make it more expensive and difficult for the land to be acquired for the purpose of the railway in future. Councillors, you may recall that I sent an email out to the staff asking Mr van der Linde to send us a map showing where the Midland Freight Rail realignment is planned. And what we got was a map from Mr van der Linde showing where planning control area number 187 is located. So that was the yellow diagram. So I've got a copy of it here, and I've got it on my phone, and all councillors I think have seen it. So if you were to look at the map that I sent out, so I've annotated Mr van der Linde's map showing the rail, the planning control area for the future rail realignment in yellow. I've marked on in red, for the benefit of councillors, the actual area of 812. And what you can see is that the southern third of the of lot 812 is included in planning control area number 187 for the future freight rail alignment of Midland. We need that freight realignment because in order for Midland to grow and develop as it should, we need to remove the freight from out of the centre of Midland. So together with the WAPC and the state government, this council has been involved in encouraging that to happen. So if we were to approve this amendment, we would be casting some doubt on the future rail realignment, which is a strategic thing for this council. Some councillors might think, well, councillor, why didn't you put up an alternate motion to amend it? I don't think it'd be appropriate for a councillor to put up an alternate motion to come up with their own scheme amendment because it would involve changing 1/3 of the site. So the proper way forward is to simply oppose it. So councillors, we're here to do strategic planning. We're here on behalf of the community. We need to look at the big picture. So that's what I'm doing here. I asked the right questions. I got the answer. I drew the map of the site on there and drew council's attention to the fact that if you vote for this, you're imperiling the future Midland Rail realignment. So I'd urge you to vote for Councillor Catalano's motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Johnson. Last anyone would like to speak against the motion? Councillor Brodovnik.
All right, as the report to council makes it very clear, the City of Swan is not the final decision maker in this matter. The West Australian Planning Commission will review our recommendation on this proposal and the Planning Minister will ultimately make the decision. If we reject this amendment, the West Australian Planning Commission will refer to the 11 other agencies who made submissions and didn't object to it for their advice. One of those agencies that supports this is Main Roads. And Main Roads is satisfied that a traffic impact assessment can be completed at a development application stage. They believe vehicle movements can be managed through future planning processes with landowners consulted before any final decision. The amendment before us tonight seeks to make a transport depot a conditional additional use. The A rating for a transport depot in this area means any proposal can still be refused if it fails to demonstrate that it will not negatively affect nearby residents. So this is not an automatic approval tonight. It's a controlled and conditional process. Another condition that's been added ensures the additional use rights expire within 6 months of the land being acquired for the Midland Freight Railway alignment. And my screen, alignment. It's important to remember that the Planning Minister directed the City to initiate and to advertise this amendment in February, and Council agreed to do so in May. We are now at the stage where public submissions have been reviewed and the majority supported the proposal. 7 out of 8 public submissions, 5 members of the public supported the amendment and 2 others supported it on the condition that the transport depot could expand beyond the City's proposed boundary, which the City does not support. So the majority of submissions either supported the proposal outright or supported it in principle. The land is already used for an agricultural machinery yard and another large warehouse is on the same road, and both of these facts will be considered on a state level in the final determination. Supporting the officer's recommendation gives the City a measure of control. It allows us to put some conditions on the proposal before it proceeds to the West Australian Planning Commission. An outright refusal removes that control entirely. So I'm asking Council to vote down Councillor Catalano's motion in support of the officer's recommendation tonight, which I foreshadow I will raise should this motion not be successful. As I said before, supporting the officer's recommendation will ensure that Condition 2 remains in place to stop any expansion beyond the existing machinery yard, and that's a key safeguard that protects nearby residents and preserves local amenity. Please don't support Councillor Catalano's alternative.
Thank you, Councillor Brodovnik. I'll ask anyone who'd like to speak for the motion. Thank you, Councillor Howlett.
Thank you, councillors. I hope you can hear me okay. It's important to understand that the HASP is the overarching guiding document for development in Hazelmere. It is the strategic district structure plan. It has been prepared to provide a structural framework that will guide planning and decision making. I hope that you have all read the HASP, as it was not attached to this Docs on Taps, so you would have had to sort it out and read it through to understand that document. We have had this come before us twice at council where we have refused it. It is inconsistent with the principle of orderly and proper planning as set out in the HASP. In addition, to the portion of land that's subject to the Control Area 152, which is to ensure the Midland Freight Railway access has that land. We should be consistent in our messaging. We should support the HESP. It is a document that was prepared in consultation with the residents, landowners, the WAPC, and also the local government. Please support Councillor Catalano's motion.
Thank you, Councillor Hallett. I'll ask councillors, anyone like to speak against the motion? Anyone like to speak for the motion? Last call, anyone like to speak against the motion or for the motion? Thank you, your right of reply.
Thank you. Well, yes, you can put conditions on a sort of approval, but the minister doesn't have to accept the conditions. And in fact, we've seen this quite a number of times. And so we don't have any control over it. It should be the minister who is responsible to the residents of Hazelmere, who will be driven out by ever-encroaching impacts of noise, dust, light pollution, heat and lack of trees in an area that's already blighted by heavy industry, and at what cost to the sensitive environmental qualities of the Hazelmere Lakes and Helena River. The HESP recognised the conflict and sought to provide solutions. The Hazelmere industrial area has already been razed of hectares of land that once contained native trees and wetland environments, all gone under enormous sheds, and my calls for at least some marries to be planted to provide a corridor from the Scarp to the Helena River are often mocked and derided or simply voted down. We cannot let the devastation continue for the profit of a few. And I think we have to, at some point, stand up and say to the minister, it's not in our planning instruments. The minister can go ahead and approve it, and it is the minister that is then responsible to our ratepayers and our residents and the future generations of the City of Swan who will be asking us what has happened to our environment.
Thank you, Councillor Catalano. We'll now put that to the vote. Those in favour of Councillor Catalano's motion? Sorry, Councillor Catalano? Councillor Bowman? Councillor Howlett? And Councillor Johnson? Oh, thank you, that was close. Those against? Councillor Dean? Councillor Ringo? Councillor McCulloch? Is that Councillor Takiro? Thank you. Councillor Miles? Councillor Congerton? Councillor Zanino? Councillor Henderson? Councillor Prodovnik and myself. So the motion is lost. 5-10. Councillor Prodovnik.
So I move the officer's recommendation that council resolve to 1, note the submissions received on proposed amendment number 214 to the City of Swan, local planning scheme number 17. 2, support proposed amendment number 214 with no modifications. Forward this decision, the amendment documentation and the schedule of submissions to the West Australian Planning Commission for the Minister for Planning's final decision. 4, advise the applicant owner and those who lodged a submission of the council's decision.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Miles? Does anyone wish to speak against? No? Someone against that carried unanimously.
Anyone against? Would you anyone against?
Yep, so I've asked, is there anyone against? Yes, thank you, Councillor Catalano. Do you wish to debate it? No. Thank you. Does anyone wish to debate? No, I'll put that to the vote. Those in favour of the officer's recommendation? So Councillor Dean, Councillor Ringo, Councillor McCulloch, Councillor Takiro, Councillor Miles, Councillor Congerton, Councillor Zanino, Councillor Henderson, Councillor Prodovnik and myself. And those against? Councillor Catalano, Councillor Carr, Councillor Bowman, Councillor Howlett, and Councillor Johnson. So it's carried 10-5. Okay. Thank you, councillors. We move to 14.3.3, which is the proposed local structure plan for lot 23 and lot 24, lot 23, lot 24 and lot 25. Just like to wait a moment, please, Councillor Johnson, if you'd like to resume your seat. I haven't finished calling that out, thanks. The Crescent Hazelmere Swan SP 2025/1, page 206. Proposed motion by Councillor Johnson. If you'd like to please read out your motion.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. My motion is that Council resolves to recommend to the Western Australian Planning Commission that the proposed local structure plan Lot 23, Lot 24 and Lot 25 Stirling Crescent, Hazelmere be approved subject to 1. Increasing the Helena River foreshore buffer from 10 metres to 30 metres, and 2. The modifications set out in the schedule of modifications. Forward the proposed structure plan proposal, schedule of submissions and recommended modifications to the Western Australian Planning Commission for their determination, and 3. Notify the applicant and submitters of the Council's resolution accordingly. Reasons for the motion are 1. Increasing the buffer will provide increased protection for the Helena River and the proposed Helena River Regional Riverside Park. 2. The 30-metre buffer is consistent with the resource enhancement wetland mapped on lots 23 and 24. Normally, a resource enhancement wetland requires a 30-metre buffer. 3. The Bibble Ngama Aboriginal Association, BBNA, requested that the Helena River foreshore buffer be increased from 10 metres to 30 metres to provide sufficient distance from the river's foreshore. This will better protect the Aboriginal cultural heritage value of the river and help to manage the condition of the river and protect its water quality in accordance with the Department of Water and Environmental Regulation DWER Operational Policy 4.2, identifying and establishing waterways, foreshores areas. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Johnson. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Bowman. Does anyone wish to speak? Anyone against? Do you wish to debate it? Thank you. Councillor Johnson.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councillors, prior to the agenda forum, about an hour before it, we received a letter from the Bibble Ngama Aboriginal Association, BBNA. I think I got that right, BNBA. Anyway, the organisation has been working to partner with local governments, including the City of Swan, to restore the Helena River's health and increase accessibility. As key stakeholders, they would like to participate in planning decisions that may affect the river, hence the letter. You can see the effectiveness of the organisation in their proposal for a Helena River Regional Riverside Park, known as the Mandoon Bilya Riverside Park, that would run the length of the Helena River, at least as far as Mondaring Weir. You can see a map of the proposed Riverside Park earlier in the agenda on page 39. So it runs south of Guildford, Midland and through Hazelmere and into Mondaring. This structure plan is in the area of the Helena River Regional Riverside Park. My motion increases the Helena River foreshore protection buffer in the area of the structure plan from 10 metres to 30 metres, slightly less than the 50 metres requested by the Bibble Ngama Aboriginal Association. The reason for 30 metres is that this is the same size as the 30-metre buffer around the resource enhancement wetland on lots 23 and 24. The organisation wants environmental protection as well as increased community access to the river, the development of a regional park with walks, trails and recognition and protection of the sacred sites. Approving this structure plan without any changes will impact these aims. This motion goes some way in addressing their concerns. Councillors, we have a reconciliation action plan, and this motion is a definitive action that shows we are serious about protecting our traditional cultural heritage and being responsible custodians of the environment for future generations. We are so lucky to have the Helena River close to our strategic metropolitan centre, Midland. We need to do everything we can to protect the Helena River. So my modest proposal to increase the foreshore buffer from 10 metres to 30 metres will go some way to preserving the river. It's worth noting, councillors, that this part, Hazelmere, of our state was the part selected by Governor James Stirling when he first arrived here. He thought this was the very best part. This was his land. It was once an extraordinarily beautiful place, and unfortunately the land has become degraded. But degraded land can be restored, and by supporting the Aboriginal Corporation in restoring this land and supporting my motion, we are pushing things in the right direction. So councillors, please think of our future environment, and what we're trying to achieve here. Please vote for this motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Johnson. Councillor Bowman. Thank you. I'll ask, does anyone like to speak against the motion? Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Look, this amendment doesn't go far enough, unfortunately. It doesn't ensure that the wetlands that actually are adjacent to Stirling Crescent on lots 23, 24 and 5 are sufficiently protected, and that the classification of those wetlands won't be further downgraded by ongoing clearing of vegetation and eventually filled in. And it's not these lots are not connected to reticulated sewer, and that is required under the HESP. So therefore, once again, we've got ad hoc planning, more ad hoc planning for Hazelmere. Oh wow, this is the second one tonight. And it's up to the WAPC, in my mind, for them to answer to the residents there and to the rest of us if they're going to go ahead and approve this. No point fiddling around with it. They'll decide on the buffers to the Helena River anyway. We've got to tell them that this is not in accordance with the HESP. The HESP page 1 states, and I'll repeat it, without a structure plan, development uncertainty will remain, infrastructure provision will be haphazard, land use conflict will continue, and environmental and traffic issues are likely to be exacerbated. The HESP seeks to simultaneously facilitate appropriate industrial growth while protecting sensitive wetlands, grounds and surface water and surrounding residents, and that includes wetlands. And I've marked out the area on the map there. It's 14.3.3. The structure plan provides, we've talked about the insufficient buffer on the Helena River, but the HESP envisaged that light industrial, which is what this area is zoned, would coexist, is a buffer again between the river, the Helena River, and the hard industrial area in the centre. It would coexist with the natural environment. The wetlands of the Hazelmere area are intrinsic links and corridors to the health and biodiversity of the Helena River. It doesn't exist alone. It's got to have the wetlands. It really concerns me that the resource enhancement wetland on lot 25, which should have been retained and improved, was downgraded into a multiple use wetland, and that's from overclearing. I imagine it will ultimately be drained and filled in. I'm not confident that the other wetlands on lot 23 and 24 that there's a lot of mention about in the report won't end up in the same way, and we're going to end up with no wetlands there at all. That is a negative for the Helena River, folks, because those wetlands provide a link between the Scarp and between the Helena River. You just have got to have them, and it's there in the HESP. It's clear as a day.
Thank you, Councillor Catalano. Now I'll ask councillors, anyone like to speak for the motion? Anyone like to speak against the motion? Last call. Oh, thank you, Councillor Howlett.
Thank you, councillors. Again, as highlighted by Councillor Catalano, we've got an officer's recommendation that goes against the HESP. Councillor Johnson's motion, whilst goes some way, it doesn't go far enough, because not only is this against the HESP, it is also against the State Planning Policy 2.10 Swan Canning River System, which under 4.3 states, the objectives of the policy are to ensure that activities, land use and development maintain and enhance the health, amenity and landscape values of the river, including its recreational and scenic values. The Helena River is covered under that protection policy. Together with further on in that proposed amendment there are 188 mature trees on that property that are at risk of being removed as part of any future development. And for every other reason that Councillor Catalano has highlighted, including the lack of sewerage. Please do not support Councillor Johnson's motion, as we do have an alternative coming up after this one, should it fail, by Councillor Catalano.
Thank you, Councillor Haller. I'll ask councillors, anyone like to speak for the motion? Councillor Podolny.
Yeah, I'm rising to speak in support of Councillor Johnson's motion, and I would urge my fellow councillors to do the same. Tonight, again, we're being asked to make a recommendation to the West Australian Planning Commission, who is the final decision maker in this matter. Our role is to ensure that our local knowledge and priorities are clearly reflected in our recommendations so that WAPC can take them into account. If we reject the proposal outright, again, we effectively remove our ability to influence the outcome when it goes to the WAPC. The state will still make its decision, but without the local conditions we can apply to protect our community and the environment. Councillor Johnson's motion strengthens the city's position. It supports the officer's recommendation while adding important conditions that further protect the Helena River and the proposed Riverside Park. The city has already sought comprehensive advice from the relevant government agencies. These agencies, along with our own planning officers, have assessed the proposal. Now, I've heard claims tonight that it goes against the HESP. The city's assessment concludes that the structure plan is broadly consistent with the strategic intent for this area under the Hazelmere Enterprise Area Structure Plan. If we choose to reject the proposal outright tonight, the WAPC will still consider it. Supporting Councillor Johnson's motion ensures we have a voice in shaping the outcome. For these reasons, I urge Council to stay at the table to maintain our influence. Please support this motion.
Thank you, Councillor Podolny. I'll ask anyone like to speak against the motion. Anyone like to speak for the motion? No? I'll ask for your right of reply.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. As some speakers have pointed out, this is not the ideal motion. Councillors, what I'm attempting to do here is by engaging with the Bibble and Gama Aboriginal Association, seeking their input to find out what they would like. I'm pretty sure that actually what they'd like is that the entire area be restored to basically wetland and river foreshore, and I think that really is the direction that ideally we'd be going in. But my motion is not the greatest motion in the world. It does at least increase the buffer between the river and the industrial area, so it provides some protection, and who knows, in the future the state government may step in and increase that buffer. Councillors, I think Councillor Catalano said it does not go far enough, and I think I heard Councillor Howlett, my fellow ward councillor, say the same thing. And well, I wish my motion did provide further protection, but I'm looking for something that's a compromise. You don't hear me say that very often, that councils would actually support. So what we're looking at here is something where councils would say, yes, we do believe in our reconciliation action plan, we do believe in our biodiversity strategy, we do want to protect this river. This is going a small way in the right direction. There are 188 mature trees at risk. At least this would give an indication that we are trying to support our environment. Ideally, councillors, we'd have a Dutch auction coming down from outright rejection to a compromise to the officer's recommendation. But this is what we've got. So I urge councillors to consider carefully what's on the agenda paper and to consider this motion very carefully, as it does provide some protection, even if it's not as much protection as we'd like. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Johnson. I'll just remind you before you vote, in the event that the motion is lost, I will need someone to move the officer's recommendation. I'll now put that to the vote. Those in favour? Councillor Dean, Councillor Carr, Councillor Bowman, Councillor McCulloch, Councillor Takiro, Councillor Miles, Councillor... Is that up, Councillor Clongerton? Sorry. Oh, yes, thank you. Councillor Zanino, Councillor Henderson, Councillor Podolny, Councillor Howlett. No, was that... No, sorry, against Councillor Johnson. And myself, and those against, Councillor Catalano, and Councillor Howlett. And it's carried 13-2, thank you. Okay. Sorry, Councillor Ringo, did you vote? Okay, you are required to vote. Was that for or against? No, so it's by law you're required to vote. Okay.
So,
Through you, Mr. CEO.
thank you. Just note it's an obligation under Local Government Act. If you're at a council meeting, you must vote. So I would suggest, Madam Mayor, the vote be taken again to record a vote for Councillor Ringo. It may have been oversight, but it is a legal obligation to vote.
Okay, so I'll ask those in favour. So I have Councillor Dean, Councillor Carr, Councillor Ringo, Councillor Bowman, Councillor McCulloch, Councillor Takiro, Councillor Miles, going a bit too fast, sorry, Councillor Congerton, Councillor Zanino, Councillor Henderson, Councillor Prodovnik, Councillor Johnson and myself, and those against was Councillor Catalano and Councillor Howlett. It's 13-2, and that's carried. Okay, we move on to 14.3.4, which is the proposed Hazelmere Special Use Area 16 Structure Plan. Lot 651 and Lot 39 Stirling Crescent, Lot 58 and Lot 83 Bushmead Road, and Lot 93 Hazelmere Circus, Hazelmere, Swan SP 2025/2, page 215. Councillor Prodovnik, if you'd like to read out your motion, please.
Okay, that Council resolves to recommend the West Australian Planning Commission that it approves the proposed Hazelmere Special Use Area 16 Structure Plan for Lot 651 and Lot 39 Stirling Crescent, Lot... Hello? Lot 58 and Lot 83 Bushmead Road and Lot 83 Hazelmere Circus, subject to the prior approval by the West Australian Planning Commission, subject to the prior approval by the West Australian Planning Commission of a bushfire management plan on further advice of the Department of Fire and Emergency Services and subject to modifications as outlined in the schedule of modifications. For the structure plan proposed documents, council resolution, the schedule of submissions and the schedule of modifications to the WAPC for determination, requests that the design of the intersection of the North-South Spine Road and the Stirling Crescent takes account of the proximity of access/egress points for the Steiner School, and consider realigning the proposed new road to move the intersection further away from the school. Advise the applicant, landowner and submitters of the council's resolution. Reasons for the motion. The Department of Fire and Emergency Services has expressed dissatisfaction with the submitted vegetation assessment provided as part of the applicant's bushfire management plan. DFIS has also questioned the accuracy of the data provided and are seeking more information, which should be provided before the WAPC considers this application. Reviewing the location of the intersection of the Spine Road and Stirling Crescent creates an opportunity to address traffic and safety concerns raised by the Steiner School.
We just turned that off so that yours would work. Thank you, Councillor Prodovnik. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Miles? Is anyone against? Do you wish to debate it? Thank you, Councillor Catalano. Councillor Prodovnik.
Okay, again, this is another item where the City of Swan is not the final decision maker. We are being asked to make a recommendation to the WAPC. My motion supports the officer's recommendation before us tonight, but it also includes some conditions that highlight the legitimate concerns raised by the Steiner School and the Department of Fire and Emergency Services. DFIS was not satisfied with the applicant's data because the bushfire management plan and related information provided were incomplete and not supported by accurate data. As a result, DFIS were unable to support the plan in its current form and requested further clarifications, corrections and additional information from the applicant. And my motion supports this request. The second condition asks for the design of the intersection between the Distributor Road and Stirling Crescent to be reviewed and, where possible, realigned following concerns expressed by the Steiner School. And my motion asks the WAPC to support a review of the intersection location now at the structure planning stage. This proposal provides the framework for development in an area that has long been earmarked for transition from semi-rural to industrial under the Hazelmere Enterprise Area Structure Plan. Supporting this recommendation ensures that we move forward in a way that aligns with both state and local planning objectives in one of the city's key industrial corridors. Rejecting the plan at this stage would risk sending a message of uncertainty to landowners and investors who are relying on clear and consistent decision-making from this council. The structure plan guides land use. It's not a detailed design document, and where changes are required, they can be dealt with through conditions and future development approvals, and this is standard practice. A structure plan determines how the land can be used, what's allowed and what's not, and if somebody wants to make an application to build something on it or change the use, it will come back to council and the public will be able to comment. My motion supports the officer's recommendation while including conditions to address legitimate concerns. Endorsing this plan ensures coordinated development and it doesn't conflict with the long-term vision set out in the Hazelmere Enterprise Area Structure Plan. Please support this motion and help deliver the kind of planning certainty and economic opportunity our community expects from this council.
Thank you, Councillor Podolnik. Councillor Miles is the seconder.
I think Councillor Podolnik has raised some great arguments, so I'll let her carry that forward. Thank you.
I'll ask, does anyone like to speak against the motion? Councillor Catalano.
Thank you. Yeah, I've spoken about ad hoc planning tonight, and here we are, another one. Yes, this is, the community does expect council to follow through with its orderly planning instruments, such as the HESP, especially as these have been drafted through extensive consultation with existing local residents. What we have tonight is that we're risking sending a message to the Hazelmere residents that the HESP is out the window. What we have tonight is contrary to the special use zone being used as a buffer between industry and the residents. The HESP was never meant to have a RAV7 road through. The special use zone was never meant to have a RAV7 road through it. A RAV7 road is specially designated for heavy vehicles exceeding standard size and weight limits, such as road trains and B doubles. The special use zone is meant to be a buffer to residents. Land zone light industry on the other side cannot be used for heavy commercial vehicles and road trains, which will cause injury and adversely affect the amenity of existing residents of Hazelmere locality through dust, noise and vibrations, and an increase in large vehicles, traffic volumes and congestion. I also pity the new residents who will be living alongside this RAV7 road, a lethal combination of commercial trucks under the highest contours of aircraft noise, immersed in nuisance and below par amenity. In 2025, this council should never endorse this kind of future for our residents living in subpar conditions. The RAV7 road will directly affect the amenity of the school in the special use zone to the north. And, you know, the school isn't at fault for locating itself there. In fact, the HESP encourages educational use in that area. So where's the consideration for them? Oh, will the landowners adjacent to the existing road reserve, will they agree to their land being used for a realignment for a RAV7 road just to get it away from the school? No, of course they will not. The RAV7 road is no doubt part of a plan for a huge circle of heavy industrial traffic from Lloyd Street around the core industrial area that will remove buffers and adversely affect the area of every special use zone adjacent to it. This is completely contrary to the HESP, which limits industrial creep. It does not encourage it.
I'll ask anyone like to speak for the motion.
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
I would like to support Councillor Catalano's motion. 65% of the community submissions
Sorry,
opposed.
just one moment. Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're on 14.3.4. This is Councillor Podolnik, so would you like to speak for or against? Just one moment, Councillor Catalano. Would you like to speak for or against?
No, that's against.
Thank you. Yep.
Yeah, so I would like to speak against. I feel like 65% of the community submissions are against the structural plan due to traffic congestion, vegetation clearing, aircraft noise, and flooding concerns. So Perth Airport objected to residential development with 25 to 30 ANF noise contour. The local community must be heard. We should not approve development where even key agencies warn of noise and environmental impacts. I support growth, but not at the cost of resident well-being, bushland, or livability. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Carr. Does anyone like to speak for the motion? Anyone like to speak for the motion? Anyone like to speak against the motion? Councillor Howlett had her hand up first. Councillor Howlett.
Thank you. Well, councillors, as we've had 3 Hazelmere structure plan items before us tonight, and I'm sure you've all read the HEASP because they're all related and referenced back to the HEASP, then I'm sure that you would have all also understood that during the HEASP consultations, residents expressed concerns, including trucks coming through residential area and the lack of structured planning for the residential area. This structure plan confirms their fears and represents industrial creep. Councillors, page 37 of the HEASP, as I'm sure you would all be aware of that map, because I'm sure you've studied it all very well, considering we have 3 items relevant to that overarching document tonight, clearly indicates that the proposed north-south spine road is not located in the light industrial zone. It is actually located in a buffer zone. If approved, this will effectively permit heavy vehicle use, RAV7s, travelling through an area designated as a buffer zone. This is industrial creep. This is what the residents feared and expressed during the HEASP consultation. It does not comply with the intent of the HEASP and it creates land use conflict. This is why the structure plan must be refused. Councillors, I also draw your attention to the Helena River Steiner School. It is not referenced in the proponent's application, yet it exists. It existed at the time that the proponent prepared their structure plan, but any impact that the RAV7 road may cause has not been addressed. It is a very real, very permanent and very much growing school. And that has been established in accordance with the principle of the HEASP. That was a permitted use. Tonight, I ask you to not support Councillor Prodovnik's motion as we are allowing industrial creep and we are going against the whole principle of the HEASP. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Catalano. Councillor Howlett, I'll ask anyone like to speak for the motion. Anyone like to speak against the motion? Councillor Johnson.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Councillors, as I've said earlier tonight, this area of the Helena River was considered at one time to be the jewel in the crown. This is the best piece of land in Western Australia. And in many respects, it still is. It has an extraordinary connection to the past. I've walked along it myself. I'm astounded by how good it is. It is very close to this RAV7 road, where large trucks will be driving, and the Helena River Steiner School has chosen, relatively recently, in accordance with our planning scheme, to establish a wonderful school in the midst of this beautiful Helena River wetland environment. The council's this school is exactly the kind of thing that should be in that special use 14 and special use 17 zone. But unfortunately, this spine road and this structure plan is completely incompatible with the school. So, councillors, on Monday, the 10th of November, you would have received an email from Miss Anita Rowell. And in that email, there are some quite good photographs. There's a good picture showing where the Helena River Steiner School is. And as the RAV7 road, as a truck would drive north and turn towards the right,
it will be facing directly the Helena River Steiner School. It's not going to be a very pleasant environment for the children, which is kind of sad when the Helena River Steiner School has chosen this environment deliberately because of its connection to nature and its beauty. So what we've got is a completely incompatible industrial use, which is not a buffer in any way at all between the industrial area and the Riverside Park to the north. It's completely and totally incompatible. Nobody who lives in the area wants this to be done, and in fact the area still has a tremendous rural feel to it. It is one of the nicest parts of the city. Councillors, as you've heard other councillors, this is not aligned to the HESP, and because of its impact on the Steiner School and its impact on the Helena River, I think there's no doubt it should be rejected. This land's got to be used for something, but if we approve this, that other use is not going to be found. So we need to turn this down so that those landowners can come up with a different use. Who knows what that would be, but there needs to be a greater buffer between the housing to the east and a greater buffer to everything else. Thank you.
So I'll ask councillors, does anyone like to speak against the motion? Councillor Bowman.
Amendment, please.
Amendment?
So with a bit of help of staff, but I'd say it would be after 1.1. So modifications as outlined in the schedule of modification, plus a 10-metre native landscaping strip provided on the residential verge.
So councillors, Councillor Bowman has just made an amendment, which is just being typed up on screen.
Question.
Question, Councillor Howlett.
Isn't that already a requirement in the HESP that the Spine Road has a 10-metre buffer, vegetative buffer on the residential side?
CEO. Thank you, Mr. Russell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The 25-metre nominal reserve for the Spine Road, I think that is correct, as Councillor Howlett suggests, that the HESAP envisaged within the reservation that you would have the landscape planting.
Further question?
Yes. So therefore, is this current structure plan contrary to the HESP when it comes to that 10-metre buffer?
Mr. Russell.
To be clear, Madam Mayor, it is the staff's position there is nothing contrary to the HESP of this structure plan, inclusive of the Spine Road and its reservation, and the obvious subsequent design of the road will accommodate the intersection treatments, including necessary appropriate treatments with respect to the access to the and egress to the Steiner School, and it will also no doubt incorporate the opportunities for landscaping within that. So we say as it sits, it's consistent with the HESAP.
Thank you.
I'll second the amendment.
Thank you. I was just about to ask. We have a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Henderson. Is there anyone against?
Further
Question.
Question, Councillor Johnson.
It's not completely clear what we're talking about. It's a very large structure plan, and I can see on figure 6, there's an area where it says provide residential roads and landscaping treatments for separation to industrial land uses. Is that the area? I'm looking at this one. It's a bit challenging, this, council, because we actually don't have it printed out. So I'm just waving
Thank you.
waving this around.
Thank you, Mr. Russell.
Sorry, Madam Mayor, the question, please.
The question again is, well, maybe Councillor Bowman could explain it. Where exactly in the structure plan is this intended to be? Because I can see 2, 3 residential verges. I don't understand which one, or if it's a new residential verge.
Councillor Bowman, if you're able to clarify.
Figure 6. No, I'm asking a question.
Madam Mayor, I believe the questions get asked to you through
Thank you.
to staff, not to
I
councillors.
think we've got
I'm
someone's
happy to
microphone
debate.
on. Just a moment. I need your Councillor Johnson, your microphone off for a moment, please. Thank you. Sorry, Councillor Bowman. Thank you very much for that. So, Mr. Russell.
I'm afraid, Madam Mayor, I'm not quite clear what the question is. The structure plan, if you look at the diagram, which is the structure plan, okay, it's a simplistic spatial arrangement. It shows on the western side of a central spine road through this linear precinct, residential area. That is consistent with the HESAP. It shows a central spine road. That is consistent with the HESAP. I will qualify that the HESAP didn't trouble itself to articulate what standard of vehicles, restricted or otherwise, might operate on the north-south spine road. It merely mentioned that a north-south spine road is consistent with the HESAP, and this is consistent with that. On the eastern side of the north-south spine road, we have light industrial. That is consistent with the HESAP. The opportunity to provide some form of landscape treatment within the spine road, and as Mr. van der Linde has pointed out, the little grey lines that you see on the western side of the spine road adjoining the residential depicted areas are what we call controlled access places. So that is to provide more or less service road access to the residential properties without them having direct frontage onto a busy spine road. Now those areas, in addition to the north-south spine road corridor, can provide the opportunities for landscape planting envisaged in the HESAP. So the only component that, by admission, that the structure plan varies somewhat in relation to the HESAP recommendations is the indication of the highway service commercial area in blue in the northern portion. So that, in technical fact, that is probably the only departure. Instead of having residential there, that is the only departure from the HESAP. Otherwise, this structure plan is on all fours with the HESAP in terms of consistency and its outcomes.
Thank you very much. So, Councillor Bowman had an amendment. I had Councillor Henderson as their seconder.
Got a further question, but if you want to go first.
Councillor Johnson.
Yeah, so I'm looking at page 38 of the structure plan in the electronic documents, and I'm looking around the room. I wonder how many other councillors are actually looking at it. And I'm seeing a landscape treatment adjacent to the spine road. But the question I've got is, does it refer to all? Does Councillor Bowman's motion refer to all three? And does Councillor Bowman's motion increase the landscaping area by 10 metres, or does it say that it should be 10 metres? In which case, how wide is the landscaping treatment in the structure plan? I just can't tell. So it's almost impossible to vote on this one without more definition, and particularly when councillors don't have the map in front of them. So can I ask, what exactly does it mean with respect to the plan I'm looking at on page 38?
Mr. Russell, if you may provide a bit more detail, please.
Madam Mayor, what you're looking at is in the part 2 of the document, which is a technical supporting document to what is the statutorily adopted part, which is the part 1. And what you commonly see there is what we call a road cross-section, a nominal indicative road cross-section as to how a road might be divided up between the various carriageways, a central median, landscape verges, etc., and nominal widths of those to be encompassed within an overall road reservation width if it's 25 metres, etc. So the important detail in relation to the road cross-sections is that they come subsequently. But to reiterate, Madam Mayor, what I hope to have made clear to all is the 25-metre road reservation will encompass the landscaping treatment. Absolutely. There is, in reality, no need to provide anything additional to ensure compliance with the treatment of the HESAP to provide some degree of landscaping, as almost always occurs on most of our major roads. So that certainly will happen. The road reservation ultimately which is when Mr. McLeod's team completes final designs of that road, we will have the absolute road carriageway width, the verge widths, and all the detailed opportunities for landscaping. But this document doesn't contradict any of the HESAP, and provision for landscaping within that spine road will be provided.
Thank you. We had a question from Councillor Howlett.
No, it's okay.
Okay. Were there any further questions? Did you have a question, Councillor Bowman? Sorry? Yeah, we'll just get through those that put their hand up for the questions. Thank you. Okay, so we'll go back. We had Councillor Henderson as the seconder, Councillor Bowman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, I'm going to point three things out. If everyone wants to turn over to the page 17, Councillor Catalano actually points out as well in her reasons for her motion, it does not include a 10-metre native landscaping strip provided in the residential verge. Councillor Howard, I can assure you, I've read the HESP. Councillors, we heard from a manager of planning. The area can provide an opportunity to landscape. I can get fit, but will I get fit? It's the same thing. I'm saying provide it. The manager of planning said it almost always occurs. I almost picked the winner in the Melbourne Cup, but I didn't. So this is giving it certainty. That's what it is. So Councillor Catalano has already identified it, and thanks Councillor Catalano for pointing out the page because I couldn't remember exactly where I saw it. Councillor Johnson, if you don't want to vote for it, don't vote for it, but perhaps you should have waited for my debate. But this is making it certain that there's going to be 10 metres. Not maybe. You know, my horse was this close, but it wasn't far enough. That's what I'm doing on this amendment.
Thank you, Councillor Bowman. Councillor Henderson as the seconder.
Nothing further to add. Thank you, Madam
Thank
Mayor.
you. I'll ask if anyone against.
Question.
Like to speak. Question.
Actually, I've got an amendment to the amendment. You can do
Question
that.
first.
You can do that. I guess that was the question. Can I amend the amendment?
Is that your question?
I believe I can, yeah.
Just one moment. We'll just get the clarification on that. Yes, you can.
Yeah, I can. So hopefully this will be accepted. Plus, where it says number 2, plus a 10-metre native strip, plus an extra 10-metre native strip. Put the word extra in there. Because there's already a native strip in there, and I'm concerned we might be reducing the native strip.
Just one moment, please.
So I'm just looking at the restriction, amendment to members permitted by the presiding member and may be dealt with as a separate amendment. So we have to deal with this as a separate amendment rather than as part of the amendment, but that process is defined in Meeting Procedures 8.3, subsection 9.
Thank you. So on page 22. So it was 8.3. Subsection 9. Amendments to amendments may be permitted by the presiding member or they may be dealt with as a separate amendment. So we've said yes, but as a separate amendment.
Yeah, but have to make sure it is quite separate we're dealing and doesn't contravene the First Amendment.
Okay, so we're going to work through that one there. Okay, so we need a, have you finalised what you were saying you wanted the amendment to be?
Yeah, I just want to put the word extra in there.
That's it?
Yeah, that's all.
Okay, do I have a seconder? Councillor Carr, is anyone against?
That could be dealt with as a variation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was expecting it as a variation.
Councillor Bowman, would it accept it?
Councillor Bowman, would you accept that? No, thank you. Okay. Then we move back to the amendment. Back to Councillor Johnson. Thank you.
I suggest we just put it to the vote, Madam Mayor. It'll get too complicated. I'm not going to speak to it.
Anyone like to speak against or for or against? So this is the amendment to the amendment.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll
It's
put
the
that
first
to the
time.
vote. So that's the amendment to the amendment by Councillor Johnson. So I'll ask those in favour. Councillor Carr. Oh, sorry, Councillor Dean. Councillor Carr. Councillor Howlett, Councillor Brodovnik and Councillor Johnson. And those against? Oh, sorry, Councillor Catalano, who were you voting for? It's the amendment for the amendment by Councillor Johnson. Is it for or against? Thank you. Okay, and those against? Those against? Okay, Councillor Ringo, Councillor Bowman, Councillor McCulloch, Councillor Takiro, Councillor Miles, Councillor Congerton, Councillor Zanino, Councillor Henderson, and myself. Councillor Dean, you voted for. So it's lost.
The amendment to the amendment's lost 9-6.
I've got 10, 2, 3, 4, 8, sorry. 9. 9, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 9, 6. So that was lost 9, 6. Okay. Coming back to Councillor Bowman's amendment now, and his amendment, which is on the screen. Just a moment.
Just the 10-metre
Thank you.
variation strip.
Okay, so this is for the 10 plus add an extra 10-metre native strip on the residential verge.
No,
And so-
that's not my
Oh, sorry,
amendment.
I've got this on
Staff
screen.
have
Just one moment.
What I've got, plus the 10-metre native vegetation buffer on the verge is what was moved.
Is that right? Yep.
Plus a 10-metre native vegetation buffer on the verge.
get rid of the word add.
Take the word add out. Plus a 10-metre native vegetation
Okay.
buffer on the verge.
Okay, that's better, thank you. Sorry, that was plus a 10-metre native strip on the residential verge. Okay, so we were at against at that stage. So we're back to, that's where I was at last. So I'll ask, anyone like to speak against the amendment from Councillor Bowman? Councillor Johnson.
Yeah, we're at the point where we're speaking, aren't we? So yeah, the councillors, this is quite a complex thing here. If you do actually look at the plan on page 38, it shows that there is a landscaping treatment for separation of the residential area to the industrial land uses. So where I'm at with this is, I just don't understand it, because it seems to be saying something that's already there. That's my difficulty. I'm in the unusual situation of not knowing whether to vote for it or against it. Hence my suggestion that we put the word extra in there, so I know we're getting something better for the residents, even though it probably would have made the residential block smaller. So I'm in a situation where I think we've already got a landscaping treatment in a separation area. So, and I don't know whether what I'm seeing on the map here is less than 10 metres or greater than 10 metres, so I can't actually tell which way to vote. So it's a great mystery. So I'm hoping a councillor in their speech, or possibly a councillor asking a question of staff, I've done my best, or maybe Councillor Bowman in his closing remarks on this amendment could explain it to me. I do have a feeling I'm the only councillor looking at page 38 of this document, which is essential to be looking at it in order to understand which way to vote. So I'm hoping that someone will put their hand up and say, yep, I'm looking at it. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say on the matter. I'm still undecided as to which way to vote.
Thank you, Councillor Johnson. I'll ask, are there any councillors who'd like to speak for the amendment by Councillor Bowman? Are there any councillors who'd like to speak against the amendment? No? You'll write a reply.
Madam Mayor, there is nothing to write a reply because all Councillor Johnson did was question what I'd already spoken about.
Thank you, Councillor Bowman. I'll now put that to the vote. Those in favour of the amendment? Right. Councillor Catalano. Councillor Dean. Councillor Carr. Councillor Oringo. Councillor, was that Bowman? Yeah, thank you. Councillor McCulloch. Councillor Takiro. Councillor Miles. Councillor Congerton. Councillor Zanino. Councillor Henderson. Councillor Brodovnik. Councillor Johnson. Councillor Howlett and myself, and it's carried.
We're not going
Now, we come back to Councillor Podovnik's substantive motion. Are we all still here? Okay, just checking. Okay. Does anyone else wish to speak? Councillor Henderson.
Briefly, councillors, one of the things about what we're talking about here has got a little bit of emotion built into it about a school. There's lots of schools on busy roads. Appropriate actions taken to resolve those issues. But also, the greater area is significantly impacted by noise from the airport. So it's effectively, the whole area is quarantined in terms of what you could do with it. So the reality is that this should proceed, but also it's also part of the bigger picture about an extension through to Lodge Street Bridge and across the river, making up a finished road network, which we know is very heavily congested. So I think we really have got to get on with this. Councillor Podovnik has come up with a good way to improve it, and I'd urge your support. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll ask anyone like to speak for or against. No? You're a right of reply.
Okay, try and make this brief. I would ask Council to not reject a structure plan that is in its intent consistent with the strategic direction already set out for Hazelmere. The claim that the proposal is inconsistent with the Hazelmere Enterprise Area Structure Plan does not fully recognise that the HESP is a broad strategic framework, and the purpose of a local structure plan is to translate that higher level vision into detailed land use and infrastructure planning, which naturally requires refinement as more information becomes available. The officer's report acknowledges that while there are technical discrepancies, these do not amount to fundamental inconsistencies. I just want to mention, or regarding the concerns around the RAV7 road connection, the proposal before us tonight does not automatically permit unrestricted heavy vehicle access. Any road classification and access arrangements will be subject to further engineering design, safety assessment and approvals by Main Roads. So rejecting the entire structure plan on the basis of a road classification that can still be refined at later stages would be premature. Aircraft noise, I want to say that State Planning Policy 5.1 does not prohibit development within the ANEF contours. It requires that appropriate noise attenuation and notification measures be applied. So those provisions are standard and enforceable through future subdivision and development stages. So I would ask Council to not reject a structure plan in this early stage for matters that can be addressed through planning conditions at a later stage. Finally, councillors, refusing this structure plan outright does not eliminate the planning challenges in Hazelmere. It simply delays their resolution and it undermines the city's ability to guide development in an orderly way. I ask council to please support my motion, which gives the WAPC something compatible with the Hazelmere Enterprise Area Structure Plan to consider when it makes the final decision.
Thank you, Councillor Podovnik. I'll now put that to the vote. Those in favour? Councillor Dean, Councillor Ringo, Councillor Bowman, Councillor McCulloch, Councillor Takiro, Councillor Miles, Councillor Congerton, Councillor Zanino, Councillor Henderson, Councillor Podovnik, and myself. And those against? Councillor Catalano, Councillor Carr, and Councillor Howlett, and Councillor Johnson. It's carried. 11-4, thank you. Councillors, it's now just gone past 8 o'clock. So for those watching at home and those in the gallery, Council take a 10-minute break and they will resume for the last 2 items in 10 minutes. Thank you. And welcome back to those watching at home, councillors, and to those in the gallery. We are now looking at 14.5.4, 2025-26 budget review. Absolute majority required, and it's on page 329. In the event Councillor Bowman's motion is lost, I will need a councillor, please, to foreshadow the officer's recommendation. Councillor Bowman, if you'd like to read out your motion, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's as per the officer's recommendation with a additional dot point 3 that a formal briefing is required to be given to council before future budget amendments are considered.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Oh, sorry,
Question.
what's the seconders? Just one
Question,
moment. I
Madam
had
Mayor.
Councillor Miles as the seconder.
Don't we get the reasons read out as well?
Yep. Thank you. Reasons, Councillor Bowman.
As included in the run sheet, Madam Mayor, council is responsible for budget adoption. We go through a very thorough process which includes a number of briefings and workshops, and budget amendments demand the same level of scrutiny which currently does not occur.
Thank you, Councillor Bowman. And I had seconder, Councillor Miles. Is there anyone against? No? It's carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Councillor, move to 14.5.5, RFT 25 KM70. This is the refurbishment of 37 Old Great Northern Highway on page 344, withdrawn for debate by Councillor Catalano. And I will need to a member to foreshadow the officer's recommendation. My apologies. So I do need a council member to move the officer's recommendation. Councillor Miles and a seconder. Councillor Prodovnik. Is anyone against? Do you wish to debate it? Thank you.
I won't debate this. I'm not going to say anything.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Prodovnik as a seconder. Nothing to add. And Councillor Catalano.
Thank you. When this was first put to council, I opposed it, and I'm going to oppose it for the same reason I'm opposing it now. But I just wanted to add that the budget was $5 million, so it's already gone up $2 million. So I'm even more opposed to it. And the reason why I'm opposed to it is because why are we spending millions of dollars in Midland? I mean, it's fairly clear where the population is going to be and where the population already is. Currently, 2024, and I get this from the city's own corporate business plan, page 13, currently, Bullsbrook, Ellenbrook and Whiteman together have a population of 87,000 people, 697, whilst Ballajura, Altona, Midland have 60,000 people, 60,137 people. So there's already 27,000 more people in the Ellenbrook area. In 2050, there's going to be 177,500 people in that area.
Point of order, Madam Mayor.
Just one moment, Councillor Catalano, if you could resume your seat, please. Councillor Bowman, what is your point of order?
7.21C.
Just slowly so that the councillors can find that.
7.21C, relevance. I do believe we're talking about a tender in front of us and not about the population of the greater suburb in the City of Swan, being the centre of the City of Swan, being my ward and 3 other councillors' wards in Ellenbrook, but it is a tender.
Just one moment. Councillor Bowman. I'll uphold your point of order at this point, Councillor Catalano.
Well, population is relevant to where we spend our money, and future population is very relevant to where we spend our money. And in 2050, there's going to be 177,500 people.
Just one moment, Councillor Catalano, if you could resume your seat. Councillor Bowman, what was your point of order, please?
7.21C, relevance. The item before us is a tender. It is a tender. It's not about the population of anywhere.
Thank you, Councillor Bowman. I will uphold that, Councillor Catalano. It is about the recommendation.
Well, we have to spend our money where the people are going to be. And in 2050, there will only be 70,000 people in Midland, Altona, Ballajura. Nearly 3 times as many people in those northern wards, that northern area, Bullsbrook, Ellenbrook and Whiteman. That's where the money needs to be spent. Midland is at the bottom, is at the very end of the southern end of the city.
Councillor Catalano, if you could keep that relevant, please, to the...
Yeah, it is relevant because it's money that's going to be spent in Midland for administrative purposes.
It's about the tender process, thank you.
And the tender process is about spending money on a
Point of
building
order,
in
Madam
Midland.
Mayor.
Just one moment, please. Councillor Catalano, if you could resume your seat, please. Councillor Bowman, what was your point of order?
We're looking at 7.12, subsection A, and it's the constant persistence of Councillor Catalano continuing after you've ruled the same item out of order twice by points of order I've raised and once by yourself.
Thank you. Councillor Catalano, could you please, I'll uphold that point of order. Please keep it to the tender.
Well, the tender should not be approved because the money should not be spent on administrative purposes in Midland at this time. In fact, the city should be planning to spend money for administrative purposes where the future population will reside. That is why we should not support this tonight. It is a complete waste of the city's ratepayers' funds. Money and planning for money spent in the future needs to be in Ellenbrook. And I just want to say something. It's not the centre of the universe or the world. It's not St George's Terrace, and I'm talking about
Councillor
Ellenbrook.
Catalano, that's your 3 minutes. I'll ask Councillor Prodovnik. No, who was this? Sorry, anyone who's against the motion? For the motion. Councillor Bowman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And Madam Mayor, I'll keep my comments to the tender itself. Madam Mayor, the tender has 7.6 or 7.54967
No, 67.
$1 million available in the budget, because if we go to page 348, it says it right there. So it's not $5 million budget. Councillors, this is in the adopted budget, the budget that we adopted as a council. As a council.
Councillors.
As a council and as a councillor, you support the resolutions of this council, whether you agree with it or not. So, councillors, when we look at this item, whether I like it or not, it's in the budget. 7.195 is what staff are saying it's costing. I see on page 348, 7.567 mil, 67. So I can't see why we would reject it. When I look at what the staff have done, they've gone through and evaluated it. They've looked for the best value. They've done a price ranking. They've done a qualitative ranking. And then they do what's called a marginal cost benefit ranking. And whether I like the company or not, that's what came out as the marginal cost benefit ranking number 1. So, councillors, I can't say much more because it complies. It's in the budget that this council approved. It's got all the money in the budget, split over 2 years. So, councillors, sorry, need us to support it.
Thank you. Councillors, anyone would like to speak against the motion? Councillor Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I draw Council's attention to page 344, and it talks about the background. So this building at 337 Old Great Northern Highway was originally constructed by Bank West as a bank. It was constructed in 1993. It's located next to the administration centre. It says the building is now owned by the City of Swan, and you might wonder why did that happen. The city bought it, I believe, in about 2013. And it bought the building because there was apparently going to be a merger between the Shire of Mundaring and the City of Swan. So we needed extra administration place in the city, administration space. Councillors, that merger fell through. And the building since about 2013, certainly since before 2015 when I was on council, this building's been completely empty. It's been an asset that has been of no use to the city. It has just sat there. We've not got any income from it. On numerous occasions, I've proposed selling it just to get it off the books. You don't need to be carrying an asset that you don't need. And now we had this bright idea that we'd actually put some staff in it. But councillors, we don't need to do that. You've heard the location reason from Councillor Catalano. There are other reasons as well why we don't need to be investing $7 million in this building. First of all, we need to be looking at efficiencies, and there's no reason why we couldn't turn the existing admin building into a just-in-time type office. If you walk through there, I don't see a lot of evidence. I might be wrong, but I don't see any evidence every time I walk through there of desks being shared. So if we've got staff working from home, and I'm pretty sure they do work from home from time to time, I'm not saying
Point of
that
order.
space being effectively
Thank you,
used.
Councillor Miles. What's your point of order?
Sorry,
WMC?
7.21C relevance. I think we're supposed to be talking about the tender, and
Thank you.
that hasn't happened.
I'll uphold your point of order, Councillor Johnson.
Yeah. So we're talking about, do we need to spend this money? And the simple answer is, for that one reason alone, probably not. There are other locations very nearby where there is office space available. So we should have considered that. And it's money that's just being poured down the drain. We could look at more efficient ways. Excuse me, Mr. CEO, when I'm talking...
Just one
could you
moment,
stay
please,
quiet?
Deputy Councillor Johnson.
Yeah.
Please continue.
Thank you. So councillors, it is about a tender, but it's never too late in a democracy. Councillors need to be on the alert the whole time. And for the benefit of the new councillors, I've explained where this building came from and what the alternatives are. So we don't need to do this right now. It's not essential. There are better ways of handling it. We don't need to suddenly create a lot of office space for staff, because right now staff appear to be able to occupy the buildings we've got. We just need to make the buildings we've got more efficient. Or if we really need more space, it can
Thank
be
you,
in
Deputy
Ellenbrook
Johnson.
or somewhere else in Midland.
Councillor Johnson. That's your 3
Don't
minutes.
vote for it, councillors.
Councillor Howlett, are you still online? Because we need to be able to see you.
Yes, I am. I've just rejoined. The internet clicked out, but now I can't get my camera to click back on. So whatever.
Can we try and adjust that? Because we need to be able to see you during the meeting.
Yep, I think it's an issue on my end, not your end, and I am trying to do it. I'll try and rejoin again. But yeah, I understand.
Thank you. We'll now ask if anyone would like to speak for the motion. Councillor Henderson. Question first.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, through you to the CEO, did staff receive a staff accommodation strategy briefing paper?
Yes, and we've also briefed council members on that as well.
And through you, Madam Mayor, with your indulgence, can I ask the CEO, what did that staff accommodation strategy say regarding the available current space in the admin centre for the current staff right now?
Mr. CEO.
Thank you. And through the chair, it said that we have a deficit of staff accommodation. We've got some staff scattered in different areas that don't have any functional connection to the city. And we looked in that same accommodation strategy at options such as building an adjacent building next to the council, leasing a space over the road in the old Landgate building, or refurbishing this building, and this is the cheapest and best option.
And through you, Madam Mayor, final question, and I might have some more, but I'll let Councillor Henderson enter the debate then. Through you, can the CEO confirm, because perhaps I'm wrong and maybe I missed the briefing, but I don't think I did, in the actual refurbishment, is it just all for staff, or is there a section where the community will be actually able to use for community space after hours? And if so, was that a reflection on the needs of the Midland community who said they needed some community space?
Thank you, Mr. CEO.
So through the chair, it does include a large space downstairs, which has got both technically a function type space, but also meeting room space which could be made available to the public after hours. Would also provide a better space in which to undertake council member workshops. As you know, the current space we have is fairly limited. When we try and provide catering, we've got no means of washing it up, and with respect, washing up dishes by the CEO at 10 o'clock at night, as opposed to leaving things, is a bit onerous.
So I've got a question.
Question.
So when did this idea of a conference room for holding workshops occur? That wasn't in any of the plans we've seen.
Mr. CEO.
Thank you. It's always been part of the space, Councillor Johnson, and if you'd looked at the briefing sessions that we provided, you will have seen that, as well as the financial analysis that we included as part of the presentation as well.
Wasn't in any of the briefings I saw. Next question is, what have we done in the admin centre to improve sharing of desks, given we have lots of staff working from home? Have we managed to introduce a just-in-time desk strategy there?
Mr. CEO.
Thank you. That's a very good segue, Councillor Johnson, to advise that all council members that the accommodation refurbishment includes being based on an agile workspace where staff will not own individual spaces, so they will be able to share those spaces, making the best use of the accommodation. And we will need to go through a staged refurbishment of the main administrative centre to achieve that as well. Similarly, depot structure, which is not related to the attended night, is also being redeveloped on that same agile working space.
So if we've got this new agile working space, surely it's going to increase the density of staff accommodation, increase the utilisation of the desks, and we won't need all the extra space.
CEO.
Thank you. I take that more as a personal observation rather than question, because we've got people who can't fit in some of the spaces now, people who don't have adequate ventilation, staff who 5 people are shoved into a small square room where I've had to then now relocate staff to other premises. So it is about improving the functional efficiency, and the building at Bank West, as it was previously called, will provide the basis by which we refurbish the whole of the accommodation.
Thank you.
Through Madam
Question?
Mayor, I'd like to move a procedural motion 9.1A that the motion now be put. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ringo. Do I have a second? Move straight to procedural motion, which, if councillors want to follow along, is 9.1A. Okay. Yes, thank you.
So under 9.2, unless prohibited, a procedural motion may be moved at any time dealt with immediately by the presiding member. So once received the procedural motion, it has to be dealt with at this point in time. The presiding member may request the mover to provide an explanation if they wish. The only basis by which the presiding member could reject this procedural motion if she believed that insufficient debate has been had, but as we've been going on this topic, Madam Mayor, for 25 minutes, it would be hard to say we've had insufficient discussion on it. So you have a procedural motion you need now to put.
Thank you. So Councillor Ringo has moved a get the word out, a procedural motion. And do you need a seconder there? No. So Councillor Congerton as the seconder?
Yeah.
And then anyone against?
And now you can ask, is there anyone against?
Is anyone against?
Right, now you need to just a formal vote around the table.
Thank you.
All those in favour?
So those in favour?
Of
The procedural motion to put the matter now. Okay, so we had Councillor Dean, Councillor Carr, Councillor Oringo, Councillor Bowman, Councillor McCulloch, Councillor Takiro, Councillor Miles, Councillor Congerton, Councillor Zanino, Councillor Henderson, Councillor Brodovnik, and myself. And those against, Councillor Catalano, Councillor Johnson, and Councillor Howlett. That's carried.
12-3.
Thank you.
You need now to move the motion, Madam Mayor.
Okay,
Mover has
so-
right of reply, I think.
Pardon?
No.
No.
Go straight to move the motion.
So that's Councillor Ringo.
So the procedural motion was the motion
Oh,
was
Councillor Miles.
And Councillor Brodovnik. there is no right of reply, you go straight to moving that motion.
Okay, so we'll put that motion to the vote then. So those in favour? Councillor Dean, Councillor Carr, Councillor Oringo, Councillor Bowman, Councillor McCulloch, Councillor Takiro, Councillor Miles, Councillor Congerton, Councillor Zanino, Councillor Henderson, Councillor Brodovnik and myself. Oops, my apologies, Councillor Howlett and myself. And those against? Councillor Johnson. So it's now, oh, Councillor Catalano. I see that one, thank you. So that's carried, 13-2. Okay. Now, Councillor 16.1 was withdrawn for questions for Councillor Johnson. No, need someone to move the officer's recommendation. Thank you, Councillor Congerton. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Miles. Is anyone against? No
Question? Yeah, so my question relates to the photograph that I sent around to councillors prior to the meeting. Last week, I think on Saturday, I went along to the building that we're leasing, that we're making a decision whether to lease right now. And on the real estate agent sign, it says leased. So it looks like the real estate agent thinks it's been leased. So are we making a decision, or has this lease been signed and approved already? Has it been executed? It was so why is that sign on there?
Thank you. Could be, Mr. CEO.
Thank you. No, council's making the decision on the matter. What the real estate agent may have advertised on the sign is irrelevant until council makes its decision. I suspect it's a bit of preemptive marketing from the real estate agent, but I don't see them sitting around the council chamber tonight, so they're not able to make a decision.
So it seems very confident.
You need to ask if there's anyone against the motion.
Is anyone against the motion?
It's carried.
It's carried. Thank you. All right. Councillors. Part 15, motions of which previous notice has been given. There was nil. And part 16, confidential reports, was also nil. Part 17, notice of motions for consideration at the following meeting if given during the meeting. So the deadline for submissions will be 5 p.m. on Wednesday, 19th of November 2025. And I now bring the meeting to a closure, and that concludes tonight's meeting. And thank you to those watching at home and those in the gallery. I conclude this meeting closed at 8:38 p.m. Thank you.